This is Spoken Word Sunday with Granddaddy G. Tonight is episode 7, and we're going to continue reading from the collection Angels and Ancestors. I wanted to share some information about the cover painting of Angels and Ancestors. It's from the Toledo Cathedral of Spain, and it's by the Italian painter Luca Giordano. Luca Giordano, and it's in the Toledo Cathedral of Spain. Well, my mother's from Spain, and my grandson is named Lucas, so there's a good connection there. And I just think this really goes well with the theme of angels and ancestors. So I want to thank my friend Gigi for finding this painting and this information for me to use. I have another request from Pursephone, one of our subscribers, who really liked this poet shirt. I got this shirt at the LA Times Festival of Books book fair that they have every year at the USC campus, usually in April. And there's an organization called getlit.org, getlit.org, if you'd like to visit their website. They do some wonderful things. What they do is they're bringing poetry into high schools. And at the book fair, they had some of their high school poets performing spoken word out of their booth. I made a donation after listening to them and got the shirt. It comes in a lot of different colors. And I'm not sure if they sell them on their website, but you can make a donation and find out information. They sponsor poetry slams and open mics and give awards to mostly teenagers. So I think it's wonderful that they are allowing poetry to flourish among young people, which I think is something that's really valuable in our society today, to support the arts, especially poetry. Thirdly, one of our subscribers, Jack Seifert, requested that I read a poem for him called The Cremation of Sam McGee by Robert W. Service. And Jack, I practiced it a couple of times. I love it. It's a wonderful poem. But I think what I'll do is I'll make a separate video of that poem. It's about 5 minutes. So I'll make a separate video for you and put it on the channel. And if any of you have poems that you would like me to read, leave the information in the comments below, the name of the poem, name of the author, and I will check it out. And if it's something that I think we'd all like to share, I'll be happy to read it on Spoken Word Sunday. So let's continue with Angels and Ancestors. The next poem is called John Outterbridge. And I urge you to Google John Outterbridge if you're not already familiar with him. He's an artist who creates wonderful works of art, sculpture, painting, mixed media. And he's an African-American artist originally from Chicago, moved to Los Angeles and was very active in the founding of the Watts Towers Art Project, and is very much a civil rights movement activist. And one summer I volunteered at the California Afro-American Museum when my friend, the late great Bobby Zeno, was the volunteer director there. And I met John Outterbridge because he had an installation that we worked on, and he gave us all of the background information about what inspired him to make this specific piece and that specific piece. And one of the pieces was made of rags, multicolored rags. And he told us that what he would do is he would go to the garment district in Chicago, and he would call out, and people would throw rags down to him, and he would collect them in a cart and take them back to his studio and use them to make some of his pieces. So this is called John Outterbridge. Ragman, Ragman, Ragman here, he calls out so long ago on Chicago streets. Rags fall from city windows. Find them and use them to create, with leather straps and wood from chewing gum trees. Works of art that last forever. Symbols of heritage and family ties. Poetic visions made from chrome and steel. Visions of what was and still is and never should have been. What someday will be. Ragman, Ragman, Ragman here. So yes, please look up his work. I'm sure you'll like it. John Outterbridge. His last name is spelled Outterbridge. Wonderful artist. This next poem is called What Do You Say to a Racist? And I went to watch the Super Bowl one year at a friend's house. And I think the next day I wrote this poem. What do you say to a racist? Sitting in his living room, drinking his beer, cold from his refrigerator? You know his fear is based on ignorance. You know his words were taught to him by his parents. You know his wife is your good friend. Should you say nothing? The words sting sharply and pierce your armor, filling your heart with anger. The words hang there, dangling in thin air, like dead animals on the highway or insects on the windshield. The rest of the conversation is not important. Everything you need to know about this person has been revealed. Now that you have identified the problem, you must find a solution. Yeah, it's one thing to encounter racism in your friend's living room. It's another one to encounter it in the White House or the halls of Congress or in a courtroom. So let's all work together to try to do what we can to love and respect one another and judge each other not by the color of our skin, but the content of our character. Wise men said that, you know who it is. This next one is for my daughter Jasmine, who died at the age of 31, and she was born in 1973, first child, called Prayer for Jasmine. The light of life has sparked and sparkled, off and on, somewhere in the distance. She has risen from the lake of fire. She will not cry anymore. Jasmine had a hard life, and may she rest in peace. This next poem is called Only Love Survives, and I think of Jasmine, and I think of Robin, I think of my mom and dad, my sister, my nephew, my best friend, many people that have passed away that I truly loved. And I'm sure that all of you out there have someone in your life that this poem can relate to as well. Only Love Survives. I also wanted to make this into a song, kind of maybe a Stevie Wonder ballad. We'll see. Only love survives when all else fades away. When all around you dies, you'll find to your surprise that only love survives. Only love is real when all else is a dream. When you begin to heal, inside your heart you'll feel that only love is real. Can you feel me when I reach out to you? Can you hear me when I call out to you? I've got the rest of my life to make up to you the things that I never wanted to do, and find out for myself that only love is real. This one, again using the word real, is called The Real Me. The summer ended slowly as the clouds began to form. All the pictures the sky could show me were eliminated by the storm. And the first day of December was the beginning of the end. I felt just like a soldier who had nothing to defend. Lend me your ear to hear my sorrow. Let your sympathy set me free. All the dreams that I can steal or borrow, I will send out until the nighttime, like ships into the sea, And I know you'll never find the real me. I think that's something that we both can clearly see. Getting a little heavy in here. There's just a couple more left to this collection. The following one maybe is a little bit more hopeful. It's called Hope and Spring, which of course are the names of streets in downtown Los Angeles. They don't intersect, but they're large streets there. I'm sure probably in every city across the country there's a Hope Street and a Spring Street. Fountains of hope spring forward. Higher and higher into the future, rushing water flows quietly as the radiating thoughts of our mind flow into the universe, sending out our request for our prayers to be answered. Never-ending ripples turn into waves of imagination until the overflowing waters crash down upon the granite steps. We receive back more than we ever asked for. We are bathed in prosperity. Our good deeds are recycled, and we give to the world again. I saw a program about brain health. I've been trying to eat certain foods and do things like my YouTube channel, for example, to help improve the health of my brain. And one of the secrets to brain health, they said, was to do good deeds. If you do good deeds for others, your brain is nourished by that. So let's give that a try. The last poem in Angels and Ancestors is called Tree of Silence. I guess this is the haiku. Tree sits silently, waiting for air, water, and squirrel. Harmony is silent, like thoughts and trees. Thank you once again, everybody, for subscribing, liking, and sharing these videos. And appreciate you subscribing to my channel, trying to build it up little by little. Again, if you have a poem you'd like me to read, please send the name of the poem and the author in the comments, and maybe we'll devote one of these programs to your requests. Jack, I'm going to have that poem out for you by the end of next week. Thanks, everybody.